live streaming publicly,
Okay,
meaning
I think I'll go
it is listed.
wear something else before I turn on the video.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought maybe you wanted me to do it because you asked me. But
No,
I realized it should be you. Because
yeah, we got that cleared up. I
But I
sent her
didn't.
another something or other. When
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess
So
you
it's all-
asked me and Leoma too.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to leave at 8.
Yeah.
But
So
Ishmael,
Carol,
my
I've
sister, comes.
made you co-host, but mainly the thing is just to sort of be here and be welcoming presence as new people come on. We had 5 new people that are signed up, plus a lot of people that I just gave the direct link to.
Okay,
So-
well, I'll hurry and be back.
All right.
I guess we opened the waiting room.
Yeah, let me do that. Oh, no, the waiting room is still on, but I'm going to let people in. And welcome, Sophia. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome.
So this is going to be an interactive event, and we are live streaming on YouTube as well. Just so you know, and you can make your choices about how you want to manage that. And we'll wait. We had a few more people who are signed up, plus several other people who are on the event email list and would have gotten a direct link. So we'll give folks a moment to really arrive. So happy solstice, everybody. We are going to have some interactive components, some just sort of talking and explanation, and then we'll have also a guided meditation through the precise moment of the solstice, and then some more conversation and interaction afterward. That's our general outline.
Great. Is it okay if we keep the camera off, though?
That's okay if that's your preference. You might want to have your camera on so that we can see the person we're talking to. But yeah, we are live streaming. So if you want to keep your camera off, that's fine too.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right. Okay, well, I guess so Sophia, Leoma, Carol, and I are all we all know each other, and we're all in the area in Santa Cruz, California. Do you want to tell us where you're calling in from?
Yeah, I'm calling in from Brooklyn, New York.
Wow.
Wow.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw this and it seemed so cool and a great way to celebrate the solstice.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad you found us, and it's great to have you with us. How was the weather out in Brooklyn today?
Today it was actually really nice. Especially I went out later in the evening, afternoon, and it was really nice. I think it was a lot hotter earlier today, but
Yeah.
it was a perfect evening. So
Oh, lovely. So one of the special things about today being the solstice is that the sun is the farthest north it is all year. So it would have been noticeable if you saw it in the late afternoon or at sunset, that it was actually much north of due west.
Yeah, the light was really exceptional at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we're out here in California. The moment of the solstice is actually very close to the moment that the sun is setting. So we're actually getting the sunset that is the farthest north it may be in many decades.
Oh, that's
You know,
fantastic.
not necessarily perceptible to the human eye, but by careful measurement, it really is going to be extremely far north, right at sunset here. So,
Well, unlike my virtual background, I'm fairly close to the ocean. So what I've got right now is summer fog overhead.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm up in the mountains and the redwoods. And Carol said she was walking away for a minute, but she'll be back with us shortly. And I think she's also down in the fog, but up here, the sky is still blue, and the sun is behind the hills and the trees now.
I'm always fascinated by weather in different places. I mean, here during the summer fog season, you can stand and look towards the hills and see where the edge of the fog is and see that up there somewhere there's blue.
Mhm.
And then it usually lifts by afternoon.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not sure where everybody else is, but I guess we ought to at least get started and move into our planned program, and people will join us as they join us. Well, let me just make sure I'm not getting any. Other messages or concerns, not that I can see. All right then. Oh, hi, Carol. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm gonna have to adjust the camera.
That's all right. So I don't know if you could hear Sophia's joining us from Brooklyn.
My goodness.
Yeah, yeah. And we did have a few other people who signed up and several other people who have the link and told me that they would be coming. So just wondering where people are, but I guess I should just move on.
Well, I'm glad you sent the reminder. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, there's something about a long evening, people get distracted.
It's true.
Oh, this is our longest day.
Yes, it is.
That makes me sad.
Hmm. Well, the good
Although-
news is,
Pardon me?
go ahead.
Well, it was just, although I go to bed pretty early, so whatever. Leoma,
Yes.
you look
Hi.
so wide awake with that whole
Sophia, I'm
sunny
curious.
day in the background.
Oh, well, yeah, my
Yeah.
virtual background. But
I
Sophia, I'm
lost my
curious.
background,
What?
which was the same as yours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go back in the settings if I want to get it back.
Yeah.
I'm putting on my socks in honor of this occasion.
But Sophia, I'm kind of curious what your reaction to solstice is. Is it a day that lifts your heart? Is it because Carol said it made her a little sad?
I feel like both ways. I think it definitely lifts my heart because it's such a long day, and I think the light is so beautiful on this day, and I like know that we'll have plenty of, even though it's the longest, we'll have plenty of long evenings the rest of the summer. But it does make me sad because then I'm like, oh, the lights, it's going to get shorter too. So I think it's both. It's like a bittersweet, but more sweet.
Hmm. So actually that leads into what I had intended for my opening question here, which is just an invitation for everyone to talk a little bit about something you love about this time of year.
I love to quote poetry. Could I do that?
Sure.
Well, the sentiment I expressed about being sad that the days are getting shorter from now on reminded me of Dylan Thomas's poem, "Do not go gentle into that good night." And I'm not going to quote the whole poem, thank God, because I don't know the whole poem and I only know a little tiny bit. And all I remember besides that is rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about death.
Oh.
So we could talk about that.
Well, yeah, that is one of the recurring themes across cultures for solstices is it is a story of death and rebirth. The winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, as the days grow shorter, is more classically when that's discussed. But there is also this well, it is a waxing and a waning. So now we are soon, an hour from now, we will be moving into the waning. As
well, it's funny because this is the occasion when the dying should be talked about because it is the beginning of the dying of the light.
Yeah.
And in the winter, it's the beginning of the year. It's really the new year at the winter solstice, but somehow
things begin to
the
reemerge.
Pope tricked everybody into making it January 1, or I'm not some kind of anti-papist because I was brought up one of those papists, but they're tricky.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's the equinoxes and the solstice are sort of times of assessing, like what has been coming to me in this increase of the light, and what am I carrying forward to ripen? Because this is really the time of fruit starting to ripen. Of course, California is a little crazy in terms of traditional food fruits that the Europeans brought because the seasons are so different out here. But still, in terms of the solstice, it's like what projects, what ways of being do I want to continue and ripen with and bring to fruit?
Gosh,
So
that makes me feel totally inadequate.
What?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't wait for you to finish. Oh, because I spent the day buying candy.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I thought, I want a variety.
Yeah.
So I got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. I wasn't treating it with the proper seriousness.
Oh, you don't have to. Frivolity is good.
Yeah.
I was telling my sisters how I got called a bimbo once. We were talking about the word bimbo. And one of my sisters said there was this woman in New York who was walking down the street in a fur coat. We were talking about fur coats and how if Susie gave me her fur coat, I couldn't wear it because people would throw paint and blood on me here in Santa Cruz. I've actually been severely dealt with for wearing a fur jacket once here. But anyway, that's off the point. A woman walking down the street in New York, somebody muttered as they went by, bimbo. And I myself did not know what that word meant when I was 35 and wearing a two-piece swimsuit and talking to somebody I really didn't know on a beach. But he was a friend of my boyfriend or my boyfriend's sister. And as we spoke, he just kept calling me bimbo. And I realized years later when I found out what it meant, it was kind of a term of derision, but flattering in another sense. But the only association I had with that word was the song, which you may not have heard because you're not as old as me. It was a popular song, Michelle. You may be in my age group, Leoma. Bimbo, bimbo, what you gonna do, yo? Bimbo, bimbo, where you gonna go, yo? Bimbo, bimbo, does your mama know? So that's the association I had with bimbo.
Okay.
I just thought it was a nonsense word. Anyway.
All right. Oh, welcome. I see. And
Sophia,
I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Thais. Is it Thais Carr? Oh,
Yes.
you're muted.
Thais.
Thais. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
Where are you calling in from?
I live just south of Nashville.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
wow.
Wonderful.
Cool.
And how was the solstice day out in Nashville?
Sunny and not as miserably hot as it usually is.
Okay.
It's usually, 90 degrees with 90% humidity. This time it was actually not bad at all in the shade.
That
is such a good point.
So
I didn't have any idea what to expect with this. So as soon as I got home, I pulled it up. And so.
Well, welcome. So we're just getting started. And I do want to point out, you may see that we are live streaming on YouTube, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
You're on camera, but it's okay. And we were just kind of going around and first of all, just giving everyone an opportunity to share with us something that you really love about this time of year. So you can go or Sophia can go.
You go, Sophia.
Okay. I think kind of, I guess both what Leoma and Carol said. I think the light, really, I was kind of reflecting on my year and kind of what was coming up between this solstice and the winter solstice, and just trying to think about that. And then while I was kind of reflecting, I noticed how beautiful the light was. So I think, and then that kind of made me sad about the lights fading, but it was also so beautiful. And I was like, we have a long summer ahead of us. So it kind of reflecting, I think, this is the first year I was really aware of the solstice and thinking about it in a more reflective way. So that was kind of nice too. So thanks.
But where are you in Boston, Sophia?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn,
So just
okay.
a little south of Boston, yeah.
New York is south of Boston. Okay. Really foggy on that Eastern geography.
So, thanks. Yeah, the three of us, Leoma, Carol, and I are in California, near Santa Cruz, which is just south of San Francisco.
And I'm foggy on my Western geography. So between the group, we might be able to come up with it.
That's it.
Oh, Sophia, you're there.
Hi. Oh, it's
Sophia,
great
you're
to
the
see
only
you. Thank
person,
you.
I always feel a little bit sad on the summer solstice because I know that now the days are going to start getting longer. And I've not
Shorter.
anybody else mentioned that emotion with it. But I've always, gosh, most of my adult life I've celebrated both solstices, although I tend not to do as much on summer as I do on winter. I mean, we all kind of get desperate for light at that winter solstice time.
Yeah.
I tried to walk a labyrinth right around the solstice, and I
Nice.
did that yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah. And I like this time of year. One of the things I like about it is you've got your stuff that your annual kinds of garden things, whether they're vegetables or flowers, and they're actually starting to get some size on them. And I don't know if y'all know the bushes, the shrub. It's called Rose of Sharon.
Yeah.
I don't know if they grow out there or not, but it's blooming early. And what I love about it is the hummingbirds. It's just a hummingbird magnet. I mean, and I love that part of it. So it just started blooming a few days ago, and it's a couple weeks early this year. Not that global warming has anything to do with that.
Is that like the hibiscus, or is it
It looks like it's the flower is very much like a hibiscus.
yeah.
My mom loves those plants.
I do too.
They're
They're
really beautiful.
They're so old fashioned, but I just adore them.
Oh, wonderful.
They have so much color. It's great.
Yes.
Well, I grew up in Connecticut, so I'm familiar with that rhythm of snow and summer. And California has a different rhythm. And in Santa Cruz, because of its location, well, I mean, if I look out my window, there's a poor solitary redwood who's had its top cut off. California redwoods like to grow in groups and share roots. And I can also see a palm tree. It's like,
Got the best of both worlds.
yes, I mean, the redwood is native, although doesn't natively grow just one at a time. But the palm tree is definitely somebody's addition. It's fun, but it's in Connecticut, the winter determined what you could grow a lot more. You couldn't just throw in a random palm tree. Now, I don't know about Nashville. Maybe you could throw in a palm tree or two down
They've, some winters, well, nothing's normal anymore, but most winters we don't get any weather below zero, or if we did, it would just be 1 or 2 days. But things have gotten so unstable now, it's, all over the place.
Have you been having very cold weather the way it was in Texas last winter?
It was cold here during that same time.
Yeah.
It was cold for an entire week, and we got snow. Fortunately, I'm retired, so I didn't have to go anywhere. But we tend to get ice more as much as we get snow, and then sometimes we'll get the ice with the snow on top of it. So it's atrocious for driving. And
Yeah.
my car was iced over for 5 days. And when I finally got into it, the battery was dead. But I'd had the battery a long time, so I really got my money's worth. I can't complain. But it was really cold. It was like 18 for 5 days in a row, which is very unusual. We, like I said, usually we'll have a cold spell, but it's just a couple of days. And this one was truly an entire week. So it was pretty miserable. I mean, I didn't have to go anywhere, fortunately, but it's just, we're not made for that. We don't have the road equipment we don't have a zillion. I mean, we do have snowplows, but we don't have a million of them, you know, like y'all would have up in Connecticut. And nobody can drive on ice. I mean, you know, you can drive on snow, but nobody can drive on ice. So
You can spin out.
absolutely.
Done a lot of that.
Yeah, I bet.
Of course,
Driving into
Brooklyn's with
ditch.
city streets, and that's a whole different thing.
Right. At least they got y'all's cleared off pretty quick.
Really?
Well, so I just, yeah, like most of you, I think the thing that I really love about the solstice is just having those long light evenings. And yeah, there are fruits that are already ripening, and I just was out yesterday and noticing we have berries in all the stages on the wild blackberries out here. There are some that are still just barely blooming. There are some that are hard and green, some that are hard and red, and a few that have gone all the way to black and are ripe. And I ate a couple and they were already sweet, so that was very nice. But we get a nice long growing season out here, so there's more summer fruit to come, and I always love that part.
We
Oh,
always
you should
have
see my
blackberries.
backyard. I'm sorry.
I was just say we always have blackberries 4th of July.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a little time to tell you a little bit about our group Nova Sutras and a little bit of the solstice and why celebrating the solstice has become an important part of Nova Sutras. And I'll also explain some of the key concepts and language we use, and then we'll go into a ritual of calling the corners, which is really there are a lot of different traditions around calling the corners, but we use it as a way not just of opening sacred space, but of really kind of opening ourselves to the sacred.
I'm going to step away for just a second. One of my dogs is trying to throw up. I'll be right back.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay. Well, fur people are lovely, but they don't quite get ritual space all the time. So we'll do the calling the corners practice, and then I'll be taking us into some guided meditation. So as you may know, the reason that we have seasons at all is because of the tilt of the axis of the earth, the tilt of its axis of rotation. And the summer solstice is the time when our hemisphere is pointed more directly to the sun. So here in the Northern Hemisphere, at the end of June, beginning of July, this is the time when the Northern Hemisphere is most angled toward the sun, and so we're getting the most light. We can define the precise moment of the solstice as the time when the sun's rays are shining directly at the Tropic of Cancer. So this line here going around the earth, and the lines in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, that defines the tropical zone. And it's only outside of those that we have these much stronger seasons. And we also have to deal with the fact that the sun is never directly overhead where we are. But in about 34 minutes, the sun will be directly overhead at the Tropic of Cancer. And specifically, it will be directly overhead where it is solar noon along the Tropic of Cancer, which actually puts it off to the east of Taiwan in the Pacific Ocean. So that Tropic of Cancer is always at 23 degrees and 26 minutes latitude. So this is what gives us that very precise time. This is the farthest north that the sun gets all year. So we're going to use that as part of our meditation. And at that moment of the solstice, we'll actually focus some energy at that point and kind of use that as a way to center ourselves and really send loving kindness out around the world from that point. So I'll be talking you through that, but I wanted you to see it before we get into that. Now, Nova Sutras, we celebrate the solstices, the equinoxes, and the cross quarters, the times in between the solstices and the equinoxes, because these are global phenomenon, because it's all about the way the Earth is angled as it orbits around the sun. So it's a significant day everywhere on Earth, because everywhere on Earth, the sun is the farthest north. This is the start of winter in the Southern Hemisphere, because it's their shortest day of the year. So this helps us to really be in that place of global consciousness, of being aware of the whole world and of ourselves as being earthlings, just being passengers on this incredible spaceship Earth. Two of the key concepts that we use in Nova Sutras, we summarize with these words, Agaya and Ubuntu. Agaya is a new word for Nova Sutras, and it's our attempt to really express our recognition of the way that nature, in all of its evolutionary creativity, in all of its complexity, is an expression of transcendent love. So we're using the term Gaia from the sciences, from this idea called the Gaia theory, that recognizes the way that life evolves to create conditions that support ever more complex and intricate and beautiful life. And merging that with the term agape, which is a term that was used in early Christianity to refer to transcendent or divine love. One of the aspects of Agaya, one of the ways that this is expressed, this incredible creativity and complexity of life, is by relationship and interconnection and interdependence. And one of the best words for that comes from the languages of Southern Africa, and it's this word Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is very closely related to ideas like in Buddhism, you hear about interdependent co-arising, or Thich Nhat Hanh uses the phrase interbeing. It's this recognition of this profound interdependence and interconnection that humans in particular specialize in. So each of us is only who we are because of our relationships with others. And we find these complex reciprocal relationships all around the living world, that beings everywhere are dependent on others. Without the oxygen that photosynthesizing plants create, there could be no animals. Plants come to depend on animals and their mobility for pollination, for carrying their seeds around. We all nurture one another. And this is part of why we find that life on Earth has evolved to such an amazing degree of complexity. So we use these phrases, these words, Agaya and Ubuntu, as a way to really distill those complex ideas about this amazing, beautiful planet that we live on. And this is a just sort of a shorthand, a simple way to talk about some very complex ideas. Welcome, Nightingale, and I think I saw Dale come on. So it's good to see you here. So we're just about to start our practice of calling the corners, which is a way to really open ourselves to sacred space. But if you want, hi Nathan and Nightingale, you could say hello and maybe share just a little bit about where you are and what's special to you about this time of year before we do our calling the corners practice.
Thank you, Michelle, and hello, everyone. We are calling in from Illinois, and this is a special time of year for me because of growth, new beginnings. I grew up in a farm and have those roots still. So I'll let Nightingale share a little bit about what's special for her during this time of year.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all. So I guess the main thing right now when it comes to what's special is how we welcomed Father's Day. It was nice to have Nathan with us, and it was also beautiful to see as our 6-year-old wrote both children did something special for Nathan. And our son, who's 9, went and wrote a message and covered that message, put grass in that, and he said that was the only way he could think of giving nature to his dad. And then the sister wrote, using the best words that she had, Happy Father's Day, and drew the animal that she loves the most. So I think that's what I would like to share today.
What's her animal?
Right now, it's a tiger.
Wonderful.
It evolves.
Okay, so in this calling the corners practice, for those of you who've done this before, you'll recognize we're going to use those terms, Agaya and Ubuntu, and send wishes in the different directions that all beings abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. We are offering our reverence, our loving kindness, and wishes for joy and an offering of gratitude. As we send this out, we'll do the 4 compass directions above and below, and then we'll move in widening circles. So I want you to try to envision from where you are what is in those different directions, or what is in the different widening circles from where you are. So really feel yourself at the center as we call the corners. And I'll lead this and specify the different directions. So for instance, I'll start in the west, which is where the sun is for us now, and say, may all beings to the west abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. And so if you want to come in on the abide in Agaya and Ubuntu and really be part of this and say it out loud, and if you want to do the whole phrase out loud, if you know where we're aiming, that would be great. So we'll go around in the direction of, well, the direction of the sun. So we'll start in the west and then go north and around. And if you'd like, feel free to stand up and face the different directions. I'm going to kind of turn and face the different directions, or you can just think of those. But again, you know, feeling yourself as the center and as included in all of these spaces as we send out our wishes for all beings to live lives filled with community, connection, reciprocal blessing, joy, gratitude, and loving kindness. May all beings to the west abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. And may all beings to the south abide
In
in
Agaya
Agaya and
and
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
May all beings above abide in Agaya
And Ubuntu.
and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May each one of us abide in Agaya
and
and
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. May all the beings near us abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings in our watersheds abide in Agaya and
And
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
May all the beings in our bioregions abide
In
in
Agaya
Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings of this continent, Turtle Island, abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all the beings of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. And may all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, beloved biosphere abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. So now I'm going to invite us to drop into a space of meditation. So get yourself comfortable. I'm actually going to go ahead and mute everyone so there aren't any sound distractions. And again, I'll take us through meditation, get us deep into contemplating Agaya and Ubuntu a little more richly. And then at that moment of the solstice, we'll be focusing our energies there at that point in the Pacific Ocean, just off of Taiwan, and sending out Agaya and Ubuntu from that point. So I'm muting everyone now. And we will drop into that in just a moment. Okay. So feel free to close your eyes if you like, or you can just soften your gaze. I'll have some images up that if you feel distracted, you can look at that and let that bring you back in. Feel the connection with nature. Just let your body be comfortable. Take a moment to really settle in, make any adjustments you need. And then start to feel your weight dropping down. Feel those points of connection under you. And let yourself really sink into that. As if you're settling in to the cradling arms of Mother Earth. Feeling the way she holds you with loving gravity, drawing you in, cradling you, caring for you. Now I invite you to take a nice deep breath in and let that lift your chest and spine. As you inhale and exhale, feel that lightness moving in and out of you, connecting with the air, connecting with the sky above you. As you take your next slow, deep inhale, just hold it for a moment and savor the feeling of that breath nourishing your relaxed body. And then go ahead and let it out with a sigh and let any remaining tension leave. And another good deep breath in. Hold that energy inside you and then release. Continue to take gentle breaths at your own pace, letting yourself relax as we welcome in a greater appreciation of Ubuntu and Agaya. Ubuntu expands our awareness of connection, of interbeing. So think for a moment about the beings that you're familiar with, the people and other animals, the plants that are in the region where you live. What are the things that are there that bring you joy? What are the things nearby for which you feel grateful? Let yourself feel your connection to those beings that enrich your life. Recognize that every breath is a gift from plants all around the world, providing you with nourishing oxygen. Recognize that every morsel of food you have ever eaten was once alive, and that that life nourishes you. This is interbeing at its deepest level, down to the cells, to the molecules, to the energy of sunlight that oxygen allows us to unlock deep inside ourselves. This interbeing is what we in Nova Sutras call Ubuntu. Everywhere in the world, these interconnections and interdependencies are essential to life. As you breathe in, allow yourself to feel these connections of Ubuntu. And as you breathe out, send some gratitude for them along those radiating interconnections. This gratitude to other beings with whom we share connection is just one facet of what we call Agaya. Agaya expresses the deep sense of wonder we feel when we catch the scent of roses in the air, when we see a bird fly gracefully over still water, when we hear the wind moving the leaves of trees, or when we gaze up into a clear night sky filled with distant stars. Agaya is an expression of our profound connection to the sacred beauty of all life, to the beauty of the universe itself as an expression of love. As you slowly inhale, invite this sacred joy of Agaya into the center of your being. And as you release your breath, send with it your feelings of humble gratitude to spread out into the world. Inhale wonder and joy. Exhale gratitude for interconnection. Inhale Agaya. Exhale Ubuntu. Inhale, Agaya. Exhale, Ubuntu. Inhale, Agaya. Exhale, Ubuntu. Now, I invite you to inhale Ubuntu, this loving embrace of all of our relations. And then exhale Agaya to spread the gift of joy and wonder into the universe. Inhaling Ubuntu. Exhaling Agaya. Inhaling Ubuntu. Exhaling Agaya. Allow yourself to feel the earth beneath you, to feel the air around you, to recognize the loving expression of life that greets us every moment when we pay attention. The deliciousness of breath, the solid contentment of the earth beneath our feet. We know that the earth is traveling around the sun in a wide ellipse, capturing the light and warmth. Every leaf turning that into sugars, into sustenance, into the structures of life itself. On this whirling dance of the earth moving around the sun, we travel with our sun in a great spiral, orbiting the center of the galaxy. The Earth and the other planets of our solar system, forming this beautiful path of a winding helix through space-time. We are part of a vast cosmic dance. Every atom in our bodies, just as in everything on Earth, was once in the heart of another star that died, a star whose ashes formed our own solar system. every earthling we encounter, be it an ant crossing our path, a hawk soaring overhead, a magnificent tree shading us. We are all made from the stuff of the cosmos, and we are all journeying together. In this great spiral dance, we are very near that place in Earth's orbit that marks the solstice. From an earthly perspective, the sun is directly overhead where it's solar noon, over some of the deepest parts of the Pacific Ocean. Envision how that looks and feels right now. A brilliant midday sun directly overhead. Were we on a becalmed sailboat there? The sun directly above us would cast almost no shadows. Imagine taking all that warmth, the shimmering radiance of the sun overhead, drawing that in, that tremendous energy of the solstice sun, pouring in from above us, coursing down through us into our heart center. Feel that warm energy enlivening us. And imagine it shining forth through us, from our hearts, out into the world. We take that energy and we transform it into the wish that all beings abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Ubuntu and a Gaia shining forth from us to light up the world. Know that we're surrounded by community. That everyone meditating together with us through this solstice moment in their own way is radiating a Gaia and Ubuntu out into the world. Shimmering brilliance moving out across the deep and wide Pacific Ocean. Across the lands of Asia, moving into a new day. Across the Americas, moving into night. Over to Europe and Africa. this love and light shining all around the world. Together, we shine Ubuntu and Gaia to every place on earth, now touched by the light of the solstice sun. Together, we shine Gaia and Ubuntu out to touch all in the dark of night, all around the world. Together, we shine the light of Ubuntu and Gaia across the universe from our beautiful, fragile little home world. Together, we inhale Ubuntu, feeling our connection to all beings, and exhale Gaia, our joy, our wonder, our devotion. Together, we inhale Gaia and exhale Ubuntu. Feel yourself as a connector between the air above your head and the earth beneath you. We recognize that our great allies, the trees, make this connection between the worlds of soil and sky even more strongly. Take a moment now to thank the trees all around the world for showing us how to link heaven and earth together, for nurturing us with the gift of oxygen, for nurturing us with the gift of their beauty, for nurturing us as they do all they can to draw in carbon and keep the world cool. We offer special thanks to the trees on this beautiful solstice evening. We thank all the living green things of earth for this deep expression of loving reciprocity, of Ubuntu between all beings. As we offer our gratitude to all in the plant kingdom, we open ourselves to Gaia, to joy, to wonder, to devotion, and pledge ourselves to nurture and tend the profound beauty of this amazing planet we live on. We offer our gratitude for being blessed with a life that lets us participate in this complex dance of co-creation, all the beauty and wonder of life on earth. We extend these experiences of Agaya and Ubuntu, and we offer them as a gift to all beings, that all beings may abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. When you're ready, start to bring yourself back into your own body. Feel again those points of support where your weight is being held by the earth. Feel again the breath moving in and out of you. Start to move your body a little bit, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, your feet and hands, your arms and legs, your hips, shoulders. Let your spine move and your head lift a little more. And when you're ready, very gently bring your focus back and open your eyes. And let your eyes settle on something beautiful. And offer thanks to the beautiful life around you and to yourself for being part of this practice, sharing in this meditation to bring wellness and awareness to the whole world. Thank you for being here through this solstice meditation. I know a few people had to leave, but I want to just open up first, and I'll let everyone take yourselves off mute when you're ready. And if you want to share anything that came up for you during the meditation, or just how you're feeling now.
Good. I was thinking that Taiwan's being threatened by China right now.
Mm.
My sister's friends are from Taiwan. So I'm sure they feel it.
Mm.
I was thinking about, well, I really wasn't, but it just came to my mind. Remy in Africa.
Yeah.
Paul was writing to us about him.
Yeah. We're still needing to raise some funds to help support Remy. He's in Malawi now, so he's much safer than he was in Congo, but he has only a short-term tourist visa right now, and to be able to extend his stay, he's going to need to pay a fee for extending his stay there, and his ongoing living expenses there, because he's not allowed to take work there on a tourist visa. So we're trying to help him out with that.
Yeah.
He is at least he is safe right now, so that's the good part of that.
And he's a hero in saving the Congo.
Yeah, he's even from Malawi, he's able to keep telling people the story of what's going on in Congo and trying to save the rainforests there.
Right.
So
So this is so in line with our organization's aims and our hearts.
Yeah.
For the Earth's 3 green hearts.
So thanks for sharing a special thought for Remy. I'll send a little extra Agaya and Ubuntu his way.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty thrilling to be in touch with, another nation that way. I mean, another people.
Being able to
I mean, he
connect with
represents
them.
all those people,
Yeah.
and not just people, the non-human world too.
Yeah.
Although we're all one, so those words divide unintentionally.
Mhm. Other things that came up for people, other things you want to share now.
I think one thing that came up for me is remembering a conversation that we had, Nathan and I and a friend of ours had earlier today, where we were discussing about how we're rapidly losing our senses. We used to use, the skies, the stars, and now we use the clock.
Mhm.
We used to read books. Now we have gadgets that can read for us, so you don't even have to see what you're reading, or even reading the trees or from the seasons. And so just thinking deeper, appreciating that, and hoping for us looking back and seeing how important it is to take a step back before we can lose even much more.
One of the reasons I really like to offer these, what we call our octal celebrations, the solstices and equinoxes and cross quarters, is it's good to just take the time to remember and notice these changes that are happening in the world. And even with the offering on Insight Time, where I do meditations at the moon phases, and to be able to kind of it forces me to keep paying attention. What's going on in the sky right now? Where is the moon? What phase is it in? Yeah.
Do you have a good appreciation of the solar system as well? In relation, the planet's relation to the sun.
Yeah.
It's interesting that our Earth is the furthest from the sun when it's summer in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
So that a lot of people do not understand. And it's kind of critical to understand that the tilt of the Earth's axis is what brings us the seasons.
Yeah. Makes much more difference. The angle of the sun and the length of daylight makes much more difference than even those millions of miles of difference in the shape of the Earth's orbit.
Do you think that the Earth would be as diverse as it is if our angle were different, we're up and down?
Well, there is a wobble in Earth's angle, actually. So there are times when it's less extreme, and times when it's more extreme. When you look over long stretches of geologic history, there's a 40,000 year cycle of wobble, and that seems to correlate with when we go in and out of ice ages recently. And then there are kind of larger wobbles and cycles that have to do that again, those are the changes in climate that happened on the scale of hundreds of thousands and millions of years.
Yeah.
It's all really amazing. It's the more you learn about that, the more just awe and wonder there is for it. Thank you for that.
What came to my mind was, and I don't know why this came to my mind, but what suddenly popped in there is a very contentious woman I have to interact with on a semi-regular basis. And she's not just contentious to me, it's to almost everybody. But I've been really trying very hard to forgive her for hurtful things that she says to just about everybody, and to try to soften my gaze with her and make the best of it, of a not great situation.
Well, that actually brings us into, one of the important themes, one of the things that because of this dance of the orbit and the angle of Earth's axis, it's called the solstice because it's sort of like the sun stands still for a moment. It slows down as it gets to the extremes of north and south latitudes. So we kind of can take it as a moment to really pause and reflect on things and think about what's continuing with us and what we would like to let go of. So I think, when we think about difficult relationships, there is a question of, well, what's the important part of that relationship that you really want to hold on to? And then what are the parts that you could let go of? So that those relationships gain a little more ease.
I'm always so astounded at people that don't pay any attention to where the sun rises or sunsets. I kept thinking about this woman was trying to get to where I was, and she'd gotten lost. And I said, well, are you going north or are you going south?
Hmm.
You know, because she couldn't really give me any landmarks. And she said, how would I know what direction I'm going? And I said, well, is the sun ahead of you and on your right, or is it behind you and on your left? And it was like, it was a beautiful sunny day. It wasn't like there was no sun. And it was like, I've thought about that so many times since then.
Yeah.
How could you not have at least a general idea?
Yeah. Well, like Nightingale said, it's that losing the sort of basic senses of how we get around in the world. So
I
it's a
used to
good,
know what time it was by the sun's position in the sky when I lived in North Dakota.
yeah.
And we can pretty much tell, you know, here, even though we have daylight savings time and it's not accurate.
It confuses things, but okay. Well, we have just a few minutes left that we had scheduled. So I had a couple of other practices for us, but we ended up chatting a lot at the beginning. So I think we'll basically let those go unless anybody is really looking for more. But why don't we just do kind of a closing farewell round of maybe let's try for something you're looking forward to in this next turning between, so now as we're moving out of this solstice and through the coming fall and winter, what are some things that you're looking forward to in this next part of our cycle around the sun?
Shall I go?
Sure.
I'm going to get some dirt tomorrow. Very soon.
Dirt.
Getting dirt. All right.
Really looking forward to getting some topsoil and mixing it with compost so I don't have to buy potting soil from the store where they get it from the peat bogs in Canada that are being strip mined.
Mm.
And I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's it's hauling around large amounts of dirt.
All right.
I love it. I'm sorry, I'm crazy.
Somehow that's perfect.
Gardeners are crazy.
Looking forward to dirt.
Yeah.
I understand.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to actually physically being around people I care about after being separated from them for so many months. And don't get me wrong, Zoom has been a lifesaver, but it doesn't take the place.
no.
I mean, the good side is I've gotten to experience all kinds of things with people from around the world, worship with people that I would have never visited otherwise and that sort of thing. But just, I went out to a restaurant for the first time last week and I met some friends I hadn't seen in almost a year. And when my friend hugged me, I almost cried. It was like, oh, I've missed this so much.
Maybe I'll start and then Nightingale can close us. My looking forward connects to looking backward and memories of a year ago. And I think we together or me alone might have participated in some other of the seasonal cyclical events and gatherings, but the one that I remember strongest is last spring. And that was probably a month and a half or so after May 1st, whenever my family left me alone in California.
Yeah.
And that's been an interesting layer of this past year is with COVID and the isolation, there's been that extra component where it's just me and the dog and the cat, and then I go to work. And that's about it. And then I come to Illinois every month or so, trying to help our family get back together. So I think we're almost there, and hoping that California will be good for us. That's an ongoing topic, and cost of living and just real challenges integrating as an outsider, even with what I'll call extreme privilege that comes with salary, just being a doctor and being able to earn some of that, but still the shocking challenge, which I guess, at least to me, is a local reflection on along the lines of what Remy and many other people in Africa, other parts of the world face. It's just a world with embarrassingly difficult systems for people to meet basic needs, to get community. So not to be too negative, but I think that's a dose of reality, that there's plenty of opportunity for us to be some sort of light in the world as people who truly do deeply care about Earth, our shared home, about understanding the ecological identity and cycles of nature. So let's hope it's a good year. I think there will be lots of blossomings, lots of seeds sprouting as collectively we emerge from our involuntary hibernation and hope to craft and to shape and to cultivate a more wholesome and healthy and balanced new beginning.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So yeah, I fully agree with Nathan. And it'll also be good to especially have the children reconnect with the animals as well. We like Nathan has been with the dog and cat. The dog has been able to express a fair amount of frustration, and especially not having, I think, not having the children there is what I think, because they give him a lot of attention and love. So it'll be good to get back and let him know that he's still loved by the children and by all of us. But also just seeing what is latent or what hasn't reached its full potential as we work with our children. There's so many questions right now that we're answering, and there's in a lot of ways a lot of worry and anxiety for them, is because we cannot really hide as we have these conversations, these worrisome conversations about the climate, the environment, the COVID situation. Obviously, they've been in the middle of it. So it'll be nice to get to a point where we can all be settled, discuss more. And now that things are opening up a lot more, they can be out in spaces where they can hopefully interact with children who share the same thoughts and ideas. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. And I can't wait to meet the Nova Sutra's team in person. I think that's another thing that's been really on my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is, I'm feeling a lot of that as well. Just being able to connect with and do some of our face-to-face gatherings like we used to do. And yeah, some of you know I was at the actions to try and stop the Line 3 tar sands pipeline in Minnesota a week and a half ago, and I'm still lit up by that, and just the being able to be in action with people who really care, and standing together, defending what's important. Knowing that there's a lot of work to be done, there's a lot of things to be concerned about, but there are so many wonderful, amazing people out there who are willing to do what it takes to protect what's important. And it's just beautiful to see it in action. And so I'm looking forward to being able to be a part of that some more, and see more of that coming out in the world as we start to be able to be together. So again, thank you all so much for sharing this solstice time with me. Thank you for all of the wonderful and amazing things that I know you do in the world. Thank you for just being wonderful, beautiful, wise humans who care about things. I know that you can carry some of these wishes for Agaya and Ubuntu as you encounter others, as you move forward in the days and weeks to come. I hope that we can gather again in August for the cross quarter. Let me just share a little with you there. Oh, right, we can do that. So we're continuing to offer what we offer in part online and also in person in Santa Cruz. You can always find various ways to help us out or connect online. And please let other people know about upcoming events. So tomorrow I'll be offering another solstice meditation on the Insight Timer app as a live session. On Tuesday, we have our focusing practice community gathering. Thursday, there's a full moon meditation on Insight Timer. And then our open discussions over Zoom, the discussions in difficult times. And a week from Thursday will be our Uplifters planning meeting. Then tomorrow evening, there's a live in-person event here in Santa Cruz. And another one we do every other Sunday. We go out and do a kind of a climate focused meditation and kind of public witnessing here in Santa Cruz. Our cross-quarter event like this one will be sometime on probably August 6th or 7th, but I don't think I'm going to do it because it's right at midnight California time. So I don't think I'm going to do it through the moment of the cross quarter on that one. Myself a little break for that. So as you know, you can always find us online, both through the website and various channels. So really, really deeply grateful for your presence here, and looking forward to talking with you more. But for now, we will close out, and I'm going to end our live stream. So goodbye.